I feel like reading this book is like watching a car crash in slow motion. Both of their parents, Lily and Lauren's parents, they have to suffer. Hell isn't hot enough. I'm a hollow shell of what I once was. Wow, what a time to be alive. That's history. Lily and Lo are poster children for toxic relationships. What the hell were they thinking writing Ryke and Daisy together? Rose and Connor's relationship is my Roman Empire. This is my Super Bowl. Samantha Calloway, you are not seeing heaven. I'm just having the time of my life. I don't know if you guys can tell. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you are new, if you're not new, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marina and I'm officially doing it. The time has come. My reread of the Addicted to You / Calloway Sister series. Yeah, I'm very excited, very nervous to do this. For those of you guys who are new here, I read this series 4 years ago for the first time, and I haven't read it since then. And I'm going to reread it because it is one of my favorite series of all time, period. My favorite romance series. I want to go into the new year reading something that I know I'm going to enjoy, hopefully enjoy, again, because it has been years. I don't really know if I'm going to enjoy it. I hope that I do. But obviously, my reading tastes have changed, have evolved over the years in more ways than one. So I'm really going into this kind of nervous. I mentioned this in one of my previous videos. Me rereading this, I think I'm putting a lot more pressure on myself than what's needed. Like, it's really not that serious. But, you know, something that you've always looked at as like one of your favorite books of all time, just to reread it and see that it's actually not as good as you remember it. Scary, but I'm hoping it lives up to my expectations, okay? I'm going to start the first book of the Addicted series, which follows Lily and Lauren, the book that starts it all, and I'm very excited. I don't really know how I'm going to split up this vlog, because I feel like doing a long vlog of me reading all 10 books is a lot. I might split it up into 2 parts, maybe 3. Yeah, I just want to let you guys know I will start my reread tonight, and I am also annotating, so that's fun. I don't really remember much of anything that goes on in this series. I remember like a big parts of the series, but even then I'm kind of just like, I don't really know how those ended up happening, why they ended up happening. I just remember having a really good time when I read this for the first time, and I am hoping that I can find the same joy in rereading it this time around. So without further ado, this is my reread of one of my favorite book series of all time. Let's begin. Good morning, everyone. I started the book. I'm like 50 pages in. I'm not far or anything, but I do have a lot to say. But I'm gonna keep this a little bit contained because I do have to go to work like really soon. I forgot how mean Lo is. I forgot like part of his character progression throughout the series is just being nicer. Because like obviously his whole thing is like he's an alcoholic, so when he drinks he turns into an asshole, but like also a part of his thing is like he's the grumpy of the sunshine of him and Lily, and he's such an asshole. I mean, granted, again, I remember after he gets sober, he's still kind of an asshole to others, but he's such an asshole to Lily. I just got to the part where like they're not finally, again, I'm only 50 pages in, but I've been waiting for this. It's when him and Lily go to their family's luncheon. So Rose is there. Love Rose so much. Rose is there, Daisy's there, both of their parents are there, Poppy is there, and I think that's it. I love the banter between Lo and Rose. It's just the beginning. I even put in one of the margins how excited I am to see their relationship progress in terms of like enemies to friends to like kind of a brother-sister bond, because theirs is one that I really enjoyed seeing throughout like all 10 books. But yeah, overall this is just really sad. I don't remember it being this sad the first time I read it. Granted, a little bit of the writing is like kind of to me like cringy just a tad bit, but overall very, very sad. Like the way that Lily and Lauren enable each other's addictions, it's like really rough at the start of this book, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm having a really good time. You could tell that there are feelings there for both of them, but they're such messes that they were not going to work out. If they started their relationship in this book, nothing was gonna work. So sure, it's gonna get worse from here. I'm not gonna say much too soon. Like I said, I'm only 50 pages in, but those are my thoughts of right now. Yeah, Lauren's an asshole. Rose has made an appearance and I literally screamed. Lily is struggling. I like seeing the exploration of Lily in the Addicted books. I know that Lily and Lauren are sometimes like the least popular couple out of like the big three couples, but I like seeing this book specifically in Lily's perspective, because I think the rest of them after this are mostly in dual POV. Lily is a very insecure girl and exploring the reasons as to why she is the way that she is and why she does what she does even when she doesn't like herself for doing it. Very interesting. Like, I don't know, I feel like the authors did a really good job handling a story about two addicts. Granted, I don't know, maybe I can't comment on that because I'm neither an alcoholic or a sex addict, but you could tell that they really handled this with care, because the romance aspect of this book is kind of like not even secondary. I would say like really put on the back burner. Like, yes, it's acknowledged that they both like each other, but it's not like the forefront of the story. I would say first it's Lily and Lauren's issues individually, then their dependency on each other together, and then it's their issues with their family, and then it's the romance after that. Like, it's really something that I keep forgetting is gonna happen. I know this is a romance book, but I keep forgetting that they're supposed to end up together, because at the start of this book they are so toxic. Like, it's actually very sad, but then it makes me excited to see how they get better throughout the book series. Like, I'm very, very excited. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, that's my update. I need to start getting ready for work. I'm going to try to read a little bit of this at work if I can, but if I can't, so be it. I also like the little author's note that Krista and Becca leave. I annotated a little bit of it. They highlighted about how the book is about like friendship and the family that you have and also make along the way, and how they ended up writing the series the way that they did, with the Calloway sisters books being intertwined into the Addicted series. And I think it's just really beautiful. Like, say what you want about this series, whether you love it or hate it, the way that these two women ended up writing a story like this is so kind of inspiring. Like, I've never seen a found family story like this before ever, and I doubt I'm gonna read something like it again. Okay, yeah, enough being said, I need to get ready for work. I'm running super duper late. I haven't even finished my coffee yet. I'll talk to you guys later, probably when I get back home. I'm back from work. I think I'm on chapter 11. No, I'm on chapter 13 of Addicted to You. Page 124, guys. I don't know what to say so far. I feel like reading this book is like watching a car crash in slow motion. Like, you know, the worst is yet to come. When you think it can't get any worse, you're reminded of how it can, and that's how it feels reading this book. I don't remember being as anxious the first time I read this book, but like every single chapter I get so anxious when it comes to what or how or when Lily and Lauren could self-sabotage more than they already have. I'm currently on the chapter where Lily and Lo get ambushed by Lily's parents and Daisy to go on a yacht birthday trip for their father. And they confronted Lily like that because they knew that she would find any reason not to go. And obviously they don't know why she would do that, but Lily knows why. It's because she can't go more than a day without like sex, and Lo can't go a day without drinking, and so being surrounded by their families for like at least 24 hours could send them into serious withdrawals. So yeah, that's what's happening in chapter 13. I was reading one of my favorite chapters of the entire series earlier. I think it was chapter 11. I wrote like maybe it was chapter 10. I wrote a huge paragraph at the end of it. I'm not even joking. Chapter 10 is the chapter where Lo confronts Lily for pushing her limits when it comes to her addiction. It was when she got like blackout drunk, slept with multiple men, didn't remember she slept with multiple men, and it was because Lo ended up finding a girl and having somewhat of an interest in that girl, and she didn't know how to deal with those emotions of Lo possibly being with someone else, so she ended up facing it with her own addictions and going overboard to the point where Lo got scared, and it had to be like, hey, if this deal between us is gonna work where we let each other be the way that we are, then we have to be able to call each other out when we've pushed our limit. And I don't know why, but that chapter, like, it's one of the chapters that stick out to me the most. Like, it's one of the ones I've remembered over the past few years from this book is that chapter. I think it's because, like, even though, like, they're so toxic, especially in this book, Lily and Lo are poster children for toxic relationships in the beginning, okay? For the rest of the books, they're not, but for this first book, just terrible, okay? While they are some of the most toxic characters I've ever met, they are also very real and honest with each other, and they know that they can be that way because they've known each other for so long and they trust each other with everything. So, I don't know, something about him being like, I love you, not enough to stop you from what you're doing, but I love you enough to know when to call you out. You are scaring me. You can't do this anymore. I haven't talked to you in a week. I'm worried about you and I need you to stop. Like, I need you to not stop what you're doing, but just to like stop and realize that like this is taking it overboard. And I don't know. It also is the chapter where you see how they ended up sleeping together the one and only time they did when they were teenagers, and then never again. I don't know, something about chapter 10 in this first book is so good. I literally had to write a whole like paragraph at the end about how good the chapter is. And again, I don't know why it stuck with me for so long, but I think like it really just sets the base for the relationship, like how they are with each other. Like, yes, Lo is an asshole. Yes, Lily is what some may think as weak-minded and not really good at showcasing how she feels about things or being honest with people or herself. They both are very flawed individuals, obviously. It's a book about two addicts, but it's the way that they're able to showcase emotion to each other in a way that's healthy for them. Like, their honesty only comes out when it comes to each other. Not gonna lie, I'm speeding through this book. Like, I could low-key, if I really, really wanted to, I could somehow find a way to get through this today, but I want to film a different video today and have it edited and posted, so maybe not. I don't know. But like, it's so easy coming back into this world. I've missed all of these characters. Every time Rose and Daisy make an appearance, I'm like, that's family. Those are my sisters right there. And obviously, every time Lily and Lauren's parents come around, I get upset. Not seeing Heaven, anyone in that family. Maybe Lily's dad. For what I remember, I didn't hate him as much as Lily's mom and Lauren's dad, but still. Those parents, I've missed it. I've missed this. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, this book is very anxiety inducing. I hate seeing my faves at rock bottom, but like, it has to get worse before it gets better. And this first book is literally like, what I feel like is the worst of the worst. Like, don't get me wrong, there are other moments in the later books that are like really, really bad for other characters that they have to like work their way out of mentally, emotionally. But I feel like this first book really just has like, it sets up everything else. So I don't know, it hurts to see my favorite characters like this strained, this toxic, but it kind of makes me a little happy because I know that it's not always going to be like this. I have something to look forward to later. I'm going to try to continue reading for the next hour or two, and I'll let you guys know how I'm feeling by the end of the night. Okay, guys, I have a lot to catch you up on. It's like 2 days later. Okay, I'm still on the first book, just to be clear. I'm like halfway into it, kind of halfway. I don't know, maybe 45 to 50% into the book. Just to make it clear, I did not read anything yesterday. I was reading fan fiction, but that's besides the point. Today I woke up on a mission to read this book. Okay? And let me tell you, as soon as I picked it back up, Connor came. And I've been screaming, crying, throwing up all day. That's really all it takes. You see, when my man comes into the picture, I have to pick up the book. Yes, it would be like me to stop when Connor arrives into the book. That, of course. But yeah, ever since he came to the book, I've been marking this book up so much. Let me show you what this book looks like. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is like the first chapter that he appears in, and I've marked every page basically since. This is insane. I'm on chapter, what chapter am I on? 20? I guess I should update you guys on what's going on. Lily and Lo are official, kind of, sort of. I don't know what to call this stage of their relationship. They are trying to be in a normal relationship where they are exclusive to one another. They do this while still enabling each other in their addictions. Like, nothing has really changed in the relationship beyond them going on maybe 1 or 2 romantic dates, as romantic as you can get between Lily and Lo while they're still in this phase of their life, okay? And Lily realizes that she's about to flunk out of this class unless she gets a tutor, and comes Connor being her tutor. And I'm so happy right now because I totally forgot that's how they met. I remember that they met by him tutoring her, but the way that he like basically infiltrates himself into Lily and Lo's life is very hilarious. This man is so funny to me. As you guys know, I'm a Connor Cobalt girly. Richard Connor Cobalt, love that man down. And so I've been having the time of my life since he's appeared in this book. And I was just about to get my first Connor and Rose interaction, but I had to stop because I was like, when was the last time I updated you guys on this? Like literally 2 days ago. That's my bad. I'm gonna try to keep it more consistent, but I'm literally reading whenever I feel like picking this book up. And so I picked it up right before I went to work. And then as soon as I got to Connor's chapter, I had to leave for work and I didn't have time to update you guys. And I've been reading throughout most of the day. So I've gotten a few chapters farther since I left out to go to work this morning. So I've made like a pretty decent dent. I'm gonna try to read more tonight. Oh, and also I was texting my friend earlier today, and me and my friend Morgan, she and I love to buddy read. Like, we suck at it because we both read at totally completely different paces, but we love to buddy read a book. I convinced her, I think, to start this book and buddy read it with me. Now, that means I'm gonna have to go a little bit slower because she's gonna need to catch up because I'm on chapter 20. Something tells me though that she will. When it comes to Morgan, if she's into a book, she's going to speed read. So yeah, that might affect a little bit of how my pacing goes for reading, but so far very happy with the pace I'm going at. I feel like I'm like speeding through this now because we're finally getting to like the meat of the story, which is the found family that is slowly starting to form. And if you guys know, you know, they're now about to attend a Halloween party. And if you know, you know who's about to show up at this Halloween party. I'm so sorry about how excited I am. Like, this must be very annoying, but it's the way that I thought I forgot everything, but as I continue reading the story, I'm remembering what happens next, and it just makes me more excited to read it. Like, I don't think I've been this excited for a reread of any book in a long time, but these characters are my family, and while we are starting from literal rock bottom with Lily and Lo, I'm just very excited to see how they progress throughout the rest of this story, because honestly, outside of like the Connor cameos I've gotten, Lily and Lauren's relationship just makes me very sad, and honestly too sad to update on anything because I have no real updates. They are not good for each other right now, so although they are together, it's not making me happy because I need them to seek help. Like, there was this one chapter, it was the chapter where Connor actually shows up and he's tutoring Lily, and they ended up getting back to her place and continuing the tutoring session, but Lily's worried the whole time that Lauren's not there, and so Connor's just like, you're useless to me unless you're able to focus, so I'm going to go help you find your boyfriend. So they go out to like 1 or 2 campus parties, and Lily doesn't find Lo, and she's anxious and whatever, and she gets back home and she sees him drunk off his ass in bed for reasons having to do with his parents. By the way, the parents are not saying heaven. I forgot how much I hated both of their parents, Lily and Lauren's parents. They have to suffer. Hell isn't hot enough. Anyway, Lauren was back home in bed, like drunk off his ass. And of course, Lily was upset with him, but she didn't know how to confront him about being upset. Because although they're best friends, she feels weird calling him out for his addiction and how it's affecting her when she also has an addiction that's definitely affecting him. Because ever since they have made it official that they are together, she obviously can't step out of the relationship and sleep with other guys. So she relies on him like constantly for sex. And it's just like, it's not a good relationship dynamic. It's really not. It makes me very sad. But again, I can't wait to see how this gets better, because this first book is, I feel like, the worst in terms of like where the characters are in their lives. And then, you know, you see that it get better and sad and then better and sad as, you know, the series goes. And these characters are just so real to me, and I'm just very happy. And that's it. I'm gonna try to read more. I just got back from work, but I feel wide awake enough to read. I'm going to watch Made in Manhattan, because me and Morgan are also going to buddy watch that. And then after the movie, I'm going to try to read a little bit more. But yeah, that's my update. I literally stopped as soon as Connor called Lily asking what she got on her exam. And then, no, it was before that. It was like Lily was on the phone with Rose saying that she's getting tutored by Connor. And because Rose and Connor know each other because of nerd debate stuff, she obviously is like, what the hell? Why are you hanging out with Connor? And then Connor calls in the middle of that call, and Lily hangs up the phone with Rose to go talk to Connor. And then Connor's just like, your sister is calling me. And what did she say? He's like, hey, Lily, your sister is calling me. And then Lily's like, I hung up on her to talk to you. How does she even have your number? He's like, she probably called someone who has it. I should answer this. And she was like, good luck. And then he said, I'm not afraid of your sister. And he seemed very excited over the phone. When I tell you guys, Rose and Connor's relationship is my Roman Empire. This is my Super Bowl. This is very serious to me. The beginning of a beautiful relationship between one of my favorite, probably my favorite ship of all time. Ooh, I feel like I could run a marathon. Okay, I'm going to crash for the night. I'll try to update you guys tomorrow before I go to work. I swear. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Good night. You heard it here first, everyone. I have reached the chapter where Ryke has officially entered the building. Okay, I'm getting a little bit tired, so I'm gonna stop here. I just wanted to get through the Halloween party chapter. What else can I say before I go to bed? I think that the banter, I've missed these characters so much. Their banter, I've been like actually laughing out loud almost like every chapter, especially when it comes to the way that the boys interact with each other. Connor, Lo, Ryke, the dynamic between the bros, the bromance in this series, top tier writing, like some of my favorite bromances in media. Nothing much to really add, but Ryke has been introduced, so now we've got like basically all of the characters are now in the book. Like, yay. We have Connor, Ryke, Lo, Lily, Rose. Daisy has made like 1 or 2 appearances, but she's not obviously going to be more in the books until later on. I will say I am nervous now that Ryke is officially on the page. I have to say I'm very nervous for how his story is going to go for me during a reread, because y'all know Daisy and Ryke's relationship is very controversial. Very, very controversial. And I remember reading it the first time and being like, oh my God, this is so good. I fear that might not be the case this time around, but I'm not going to lie to you. When Ryke did show up on the page, my heart did a thing. I can't help it. These characters are everything to me. But once him and Daisy start interacting, I'm going to update y'all on how I feel about that. Because obviously when I get to their books, I'm going to have to deal with the whole book of that. So I'm going to have to jump the hurdle eventually. But yes, let me not get too ahead of myself. Ryke is here. Ryke is about to help them escape this party that Lo kicked them out of because he was drinking the host's alcohol without the host's permission. Gotta love Lauren. Love him. Even while he's a drunk mess. Yay. There's like a football game happening, so I'm sorry if you can hear excitement from downstairs. Touchdown. Yay. Yeah, I'm going to bed. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, officially. I was gonna do that anyway, but I just want to let you know that I did read a chapter before I went to bed, and Ryke is here, and I think that's enough to announce here. So good night. See you guys tomorrow morning. Good morning, everyone. It is the next morning. I promised for an update, and I'm gonna give you an update, but I am gonna do it in a rush because I have to go to work. First things first, Ryke has infiltrated Lily and Lo's life, whether they like it or not. One of the best things about him, in my opinion, is the fact that he really does not give a fuck. He's not like Connor in the sense where like he's willing to not ignore. The way that Ryke and Connor handle problems is very differently. Whereas Connor is aware of the fact that Lily and Lo has a problem. He's not really willing to interject unless it's with snide remarks and comments that make them know that he knows, but know that he's not really going to do anything about it. Whereas Ryke is like, I know you have this problem and y'all need my help, so I'm gonna help. And I don't really care if you have anything to say about it. And I love that about him, seriously. Because he's kind of the catalyst for how the rest of the books end up going. So that's me giving Ryke Meadows his flowers. I'm almost done with the book. Morgan, the friend that I told you I got to start this last night, she read that shit in one sitting. I woke up to her spamming my phone last night about everything in the book, and that just makes me want to finish it even more. So I might finish it today and might start Ricochet after work. So that's exciting. But yeah, I have now gotten to the part where Ryke is pretending to like report on them for a school project as an excuse to like follow Lo around and make sure that he doesn't drink. Next time you see me, I might have finished the book, maybe. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to read at work, but that's the goal today, is to finish the first book and start the novella. So yeah, see you guys later. Hello all. Same day, just later after work. Hello. I'm on chapter 28 of Addicted to You. I'm almost done. I'm like, if I can show you, this close to being done. Planning on finishing this tonight and starting Ricochet, but before I finish, I just want to give you one more update, maybe a few more, depending on how this ending goes. From what I remember, it's very messy, can't wait. But I want to talk about chapter 27 because, again, I read it during work and it was one of the most emotional and heavy chapters of the book. It is the chapter where Lily, Lo, Connor, Ryke, they all go to Rose's fashion show. And you guys know, if you've read the books, Rose's whole fashion couture line, it means a lot to her. And especially in the beginning of the series, like her business is going through a little bit of a deplete, like it's not really doing all that well. So like she just wants the support of her family and her friends. And so she basically begs Lily to come, and Lily agrees because she wants to be there for her sister, which makes it all the more sad what ends up happening. But basically she feels anxious and nervous at a social function, a gathering. She feels anxious being around her family. She feels like she just can't put up the facade that comes with being a calloway. And so obviously she ends up going to Lo, begging for sex. And it's actually very, very sad because her entire inner monologue is just, I'm gonna get emotional. It's sad. It's so sad. The entire chapter, she's just like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm embarrassed to do this. I hate myself for doing this. Why am I like this? And it's not like she hasn't been saying that throughout the entire book, but I feel like in this chapter, it's so pushed on the fact that she really does not like herself when she does this. She's not happy or proud that she is this way. She ends up missing Rose's entire fashion show, and now she's not really on good footing with Rose either. Rose isn't talking to her for real. She doesn't really trust her anymore. And Rose and Lily's relationship at the beginning of the series is on a very thin line because of how isolated Lily is from the rest of her family, specifically Rose, who constantly tries to reach out to her all the time. Like Rose was already like very much ready to just like give up on Lily. And I think this kind of pushed it in a way where she just can't trust her unless Lily opens up to her for real. And of course, this makes Lily feel even worse, and she just ends up isolating herself even more. It's a whole cycle. I was writing about it at the end of the chapter. I wrote like a whole blurb. I also heavily annotated in that chapter, but like, look at this. I wrote all of this at the end of the chapter because a lot of thoughts. This entire book it shows both Lily and Lo and how their addictions affect both of them. But because it's in Lily's perspective, you get to see more of her side of how her sex addiction affects her and her life. And I'm not gonna lie, throughout the entire book, Lily is a little bit on her high horse about how her addiction is better because it's more private, whereas Lo's is very much external. Like, if he were to go out in public drunk, most people would notice, or carrying around glasses of alcohol, like, constantly throughout the day, people would think there's something wrong, whereas Lily can walk around, talk to family, friends, and just be perceived as normal. And she's like, she hasn't been gloating about it, but she's been just like, yeah, my addiction doesn't really affect anyone, it's just a me thing, and blah, blah, blah. It's weird too, because at the same time she's like, I hate myself for this, while also affecting her family, and it's just whatever, right? And so I feel like this chapter 27, really does a good job of showing how no matter what addiction you have, the effects are all pretty much similar. Like, yes, Lo is an alcoholic, yes, Lily is a sex addict, and while the internal factors of being an addict affect them differently, probably, what happens on the outside, like in terms of family, friends, building relationships with people, being able to just like actively participate in like functions and social gatherings, they can't do that. Like, it's their addiction, it makes it hard for them. And I think this chapter really shows that when Lily is incapable of being able to support her sister without having a nervous breakdown and needing sex. Like, it's really sad. It's really sad. It got to the point where even Lo was like, hey, you need to calm down. We need to go and see your sister. And Lily is so blacked out in the middle of her haze that she doesn't even realize that the fashion show is over until she sees people walking out, because she was doing it in the car with Lo for like the entirety of the event, and she didn't even realize that the time passed by. It's really sad. Like, this, it shows how much this addiction takes over her life and is affecting her entire world. Not even just like her mental state or anything, but like everything. And ooh, it was really hard. I feel like reading this book in public is not a good idea, because every time I pick up a chapter, really heavy. But another update, I also got to a chapter, I think it was chapter 25? Yes, no, chapter 26. Chapter 26, first Rose and Connor meeting, and wow, what a time to be alive. That's history. The first calloway meeting. History started on chapter 26 of the first book. Rose and Connor, they've already known each other. Can't stress it's enough. Academic rivals to lovers. They kind of invented the trope. Anyway, they met. Connor almost immediately asked her out after a little bit of banter. You know how they are. He immediately asked her out to go see a Shakespeare play. Rose loves Shakespeare. Oh my god. Okay, and since chapter 26, he's pretty much been whipped for her. When Rose was mad at Lily, Connor was also mad at Lily. When Lily ran back to the fashion show to apologize to Rose, Connor was like, you're not getting through this door. You're not ruining the rest of her night. You've done enough. You can go. And look, I feel mixed emotions about like romantic partners getting in the way of sibling beef. Like, I feel mixed about it, but he was very firm in the fact that you've already ruined your sister's night. You are not going to do anything else to ruin this for her. She just made a deal with H&M. She just made a deal with Old Navy. Like, she's making moves in there, and you are not going to ruin this for her. You can talk to her some other time. Like, he was serious. And even Lily was like, damn, the one friendship I had with this man that irritates me, I ruined that too, because I just can't get a hold of myself. Like, oh, so much has happened, and only like, I think I only got like 4 chapters in since the last time I talked to you guys, but because I'm almost done, I feel like I need to explain everything that's been happening. Right now, the way that Ryke is getting into Lo's life is by pretending that he's doing an article on rich people, nepotism babies, basically, and he was like, I need to interview you and Lily, and Lo was like, I hate it here, and Lily is like, okay, because she understands the plan. She understands that Ryke just wants to help, because that's all Ryke ever wants to do is just help. And yeah, I'm just having the time of my life. I don't know if you guys can tell. I am trying to finish this again by tonight so I can catch up with Morgan, because she's waiting for me to finish so she can start the second one. She was like, again, spam texting me, and I texted her during work telling her like which parts I'm at and stuff. She's so nervous to continue reading because she read the synopses for all the books after the first one, and she's very nervous about Ryke and Daisy's relationship because she doesn't know how to feel about it. And so I told her that she can tap out whenever. I just feel like this is more fun to do it as a buddy read. So I told her she can tap out whenever. I kind of want someone else to read these books with me just so I can get like opposing opinions. Not even like opposing, but just like see different points of views. I'm about to finish this book. I got this much left. Let's do this thing. Let's go. Okay. I just finished the Christmas Gala episode. I feel like I have like maybe one more chapter left and then like the epilogue. I'm this close to finishing. I need to talk about this Christmas Gala episode. Not episode, chapter. It felt like an episode though. You know, like back in the day when you would have like 20 episode seasons of a show and there'd always be a Christmas and Thanksgiving episode. And sometimes those episodes will be the messiest, craziest episodes of the entire season. Gossip Girl has this. Boy Meets World has this. Like, there are many shows that have like holiday specials where they, you know, drop all of the tea in the mess. I feel like that's what I just experienced reading that chapter at this damn Christmas Gala. I knew it was coming, obviously, but oh my God, so much mess. First of all, Lo and Lily going up to the hotel room to have sex. Lo caving into his addictions no less than a week into being sober. Him literally begging for his father to see him and see that he has a problem. And his father, Jonathan Hale, refusing to because then he has to admit that he himself also has a problem. That they're both alcoholics together. Whoa, crazy. Ryke. Just Ryke. Ryke telling Lo that he is his brother and that Lo is a bastard. Lo literally falling to his knees, having a full-on panic attack, and all he's begging for is Lily. Lo confessing to his father that he's going to rehab. Like, there's a lot in this chapter. I felt like I watched a very demented, emotionally draining Gossip Girl Thanksgiving episode. I'm tired, but I have like this much left, like literally nothing. I have like a few pages left, but and then I have to talk to Morgan about it. But guys, what a reveal. I have to say that before I continue. What a reveal. Still, I feel like one of, if not the best like plot twist reveals I think I've ever read. Lo being a bastard child is crazy. Till this day, I still was not expecting it. I was still gagged, even though, again, I've read this entire series before. I don't know why I was gagged. I had no reason being gagged. Like, literally, I think it's the way that Krista and Becca Ritchie deliver this information. Like, oh my God, I'm speechless. Also, the reveal of Lauren and Ryke not having the same mom, Jonathan stepping out on Ryke's mom to sleep with Lauren's mom. The way that it was revealed, I kind of have issues with. I, again, love this series down. I do. But the authors are so questionable because the way that it's explained, it's like Jonathan stepped out of his marriage to go cheat on his wife with a minor. But yet when Lo asks if he R-worded her, Ryke says no. You know, no comment. No comment. I feel like that's low-key, like, see, if I say what I want to say, I don't want the people to come for me. But I never noticed that before. I totally forgot, and now I have a headache because if I connect the dots, I'm not doing that this late at night. It's just something I wanted to point out. Another chapter where my pen went crazy. Can't stress this enough. I'm in pain. I constantly wrote multiple times throughout this chapter how my heart is broken. I'm broken. I'm nothing. I'm a hollow shell of what I once was. Anyway, I'm going to finish this book. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I highly doubt I'll have anything to say tonight. Any updates I have will be given tomorrow. Good night. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Good morning, everyone. It is the next day, and I have finished Addicted to You. I feel like you guys are really far away. I have officially finished Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. What a whirlwind of emotions. Like, I'm still recovering. This book is so good, And I forgot how good it was, honestly. Like, when I think of the first book, I do think of it as Lily and Lo's beginning, and their beginning is really rough. So I just remembered like a lot. I actually don't remember anything. Again, when I first read these books, I read them in like the span of a month. This first book I probably read in one sitting. So like to space it out within a few days, I think it really helped me take in this book a lot more. Like, just really good. I don't really know what else to say. That ending still hurts. But yeah, I finished it fully annotated. Like, wow, kind of went in with the annotations on this book. Very proud of myself. I'm going to try to keep that up for the rest of the books in the series, but we're just going to have to see. Final thoughts before I get into Ricochet. Rooting for Lily and Lo always. Rose and Connor, OTP, love them down. Ryke is someone that exists and he's going to help Lo. And I think that he's a good support system for Lo and Lily. Because I'm really excited to get to Ricochet because it's probably my favorite book for Lily and Ryke's relationship, because if you guys don't remember, Ryke and Lily don't get along at all in this first book, and I think because their one thing that they have in common is Lo, and Lo is obviously not going to be in the next book because he has to go to rehab, it gives them time to bond and stuff, and I remember really liking that aspect of Ricochet, even though it's just like a novella. Yeah, I'm very excited to see how their friendship develops without Lo around. I think that that's really good. I just like seeing the relationships grow, like romantic, platonic, brotherly, sisterly, whatever. I like seeing that the most in this series, and I can't wait to see how it gets more fleshed out as the books go on. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I am starting Ricochet this morning. I have to go to work soon, but I'm gonna try to get as far as I can. Like I said, this is a pretty tiny book. I'm pretty sure it's like 200 pages. No, actually, yeah, a little less than 300, but it's still like small compared to the first book. Hopefully it shouldn't take me as long, but we'll just have to see. I kind of hate that the trope is on the covers of books now. Or like if it's not on the covers, then it's in the description or the synopsis of the book. And like, I kind of hate that. I hate what we've become as a society, because why do you have to have the trope on the book for it to sell? Very annoying. Very annoying. Whatever happened to just like giving a good description of the story? But anyway, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start on this probably in like an hour. I don't know. I want to take time to drink my coffee and just eat breakfast, but then I'm going to start this book. Okay, update before I go to work. I only read the first chapter, so I barely made any sort of dent into this. But I, just from the first chapter alone, know I'm gonna have probably a good time with this book, okay? The first chapter just showcased Lily trying to form a relationship with her youngest sister, Daisy. And I think this is when Daisy starts to become like a part of the core group. It's in this little novella, and I'm very excited. Seeing Daisy from Lily's point of view is so interesting because she can tell that Daisy is not all the way there. Just like how she can see that Rose is very type A, very strict, very uptight. She can also see that Daisy is the total opposite, and she understands that they are all this way because of how they were raised and the environment they were raised in. And she's trying to fulfill that big sister role so much with Daisy. And it's so clear even in like just the first chapter when her and Daisy are talking and they play that game on the roof of the party that they're at. By the way, they're at a New Year's party. And Daisy's like, let's ask each other questions so I can get to know you better. If you get a question wrong, then I have to take one step closer to the ledge. Lily is like, I'm nervous. I'm scared. It's making me anxious. I feel like I'm going to kill my sister because I have no idea what question she's going to ask. And I also don't think I have a chance either way because I know nothing about my younger sister because I've held her at a distance for literal years. It was just a very wholesome scene because Lily and Daisy's vibes are completely different. Like, I know I just said that Rose and Daisy are complete opposites, but the way that Lily handles Daisy's outgoing, thrill-seeking persona that she puts up, because let's just be clear, Daisy's whole entire demeanor that she has around her sisters is who she is, but it's a lot deeper than that. It's like a persona she puts up, and obviously we're going to see that more as the books go on, but like it's interesting seeing Daisy from Lily's perspective, because Lily is just like, this girl's crazy. And yes, Daisy is crazy, jumping off of buildings to jump into a pool. Wild. But there's so much to unpack here with this relationship, and it's also stated in Lily's inner monologue that Daisy obviously has a problem with Lily and Rose's relationship, but yet they don't talk about that. She's like, I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. I'm not even gonna bring up Rose. Like, ooh, the sister dynamics between all three of them and how different each of them are is seriously one of my favorite parts of the series. Like I said, unpacking all of the relationships, you kind of think of the romance as secondary, because to the series core, it's about the Calloway sisters and their sisterhood and how nothing can break them, and seeing how they have to build their relationship from the start of this series all the way up until the end. Very satisfying to me. I'm rambling. I'm only on the first chapter and I already have this much to say. This is crazy. But yeah, we're so back. I'm going to try to read more while I'm at work. We'll see if I can. Again, I'm hoping. I texted Morgan saying that I started this book, so she will probably start it again sometime today. I feel so bad though, because I'm going at a snail's pace because I'm annotating. Like I said, I can read this book, this whole entire series, really fast if I tried. I'm just really trying to take it all in this time around. So I kind of don't want Morgan to start it until like maybe like tomorrow. And then we can talk about it, but we'll see. With that being said, I'm going to go to work. If I read more, I will talk to you guys later about it. Bye. Hi. Guys, we have to talk. Same day. I'm just home from work. It's a lot later if you couldn't tell by the lack of light outside. I am only on page 24. I barely made a dent into the book. I'm still at the beginning. I'm only on chapter 2. I tried to read it as much as I could during work. It was very busy. Couldn't do it. But regardless, I don't know. I'm going to be so real right now. I've given the Ritchie sisters a lot of praise. I have questions, and I think I've always had these questions, but now that I'm rereading the series, I can finally like ask them, because I'm looking at the source material. What the hell were they thinking writing Ryke and Daisy together? Like, what was going through their minds? Because it's obvious that they knew how people would view it. I'm on, again, chapter 2. It was on page 21. I read this at work and I had to stop. I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is a lot of underlining and stuff, because like the foreshadowing to Ryke and Daisy's relationship is all up and through this book. That's one thing that I think I pushed out of my mind, but it's happening. So they said, and this is in Lily's perspective, okay? Okay, so right now, Ryke is on his way to the New Year's Eve party that they're at, because he knows that Lily can't handle being around a lot of hot people right now, because she's going through serious withdrawals. So he had to text Daisy and be like, hey, where are you? And Daisy takes that as a sign that he wants to hang out with her, and Lily has to break it to her that no, that would be weird. He's 22 and you're 15. And then she says he's not that kind of guy that would hit on 15-year-olds, because those guys are perverts. And then she continues to say, after, of course, Daisy starts rebuttaling, being like, I'm an adult. People treat me like an adult. She says, you're still 15. He's still 22. And then she continues to say, this needs to be squashed right now before he gets here. I cannot have her thinking she has a chance with him. So, like, pointing out the obvious, that the age gap is there and that it exists. Now, me and age gap, I don't really mind an age gap, period, like, at all. As long as it's, like, a reasonable age gap. He's 22, she's 15. Nothing starts here. If you know the series, then you know. It doesn't start until, like, books later, like 3-4 years later, when she's, like, legal. My issue is, because we're starting out with Daisy's character so young, and he is a legal adult in his like early to mid 20s once we get to his and Daisy's book. I just want to know what they thought they were doing by like mentioning this several times, that he's 22 and that she's 15. And then reinstating from Lily's point of view that they can't be together. That's not okay. Guys who date girls within that age range who are that age are perverts. Because now, what am I supposed to do with this information? Knowing how the rest of the series goes, what am I supposed to do here? You know? And don't get me wrong, I've said this so many times, I feel like I'm going to say it throughout this whole entire reading vlog. I have so many mixed feelings about Ryke and Daisy's relationship. Like, just as someone who loves this series and as someone who arguably really likes Ryke and Daisy together, it genuinely gives me the ick that that their age gap is the way it is. And I don't know how to put it into words yet. I might be able to put it into words better when I'm like further into the series of my reread. But oh my god, when I got to that page, I was like, are we really doing this right now? You can't sit here and tell me that, oh, he's a pervert for doing so and so, or this can never happen, and blah, blah, blah. When I know down the line that this is what's going to happen, and this is how it's going to go, and he is going to do that thing. Like, whether we state it or not, and I know a lot of people love Ryke, so I might get a lot of hate, but I'm going to state my piece. He does end up flirting with her. I think like a year before she's legal, at least. I remember in Kiss the Sky, there were like 1 or 2 scenes that I was like, this is flirtation. And he was, I think, 24 at the time, and she was 16, 17. I remember this. It's all coming back to me as I continue my reread, and I'm kind of just like, what are we getting at here? Pointing out that only perverts go after 15-year-olds. Well, yes, that is true. So why do this? Why? It's just so confusing to me because I don't really understand. Again, I don't really mind an age gap relationship as long as it's like reasonable. If both characters are in their early to mid 20s, then yes, I would agree that 7 years isn't really all that bad. Well, it really just depends. Here in this context, he's about to officially like meet her for the first time. They've met, but they've never had like real conversations. He's about to meet her. He's gonna know her up until like from when she's 15 on and on until like they get together. This is grooming, yes? Like, I'm sorry, I have to say the G word. This is grooming, right? Ooh, I'm just getting heated. Like, I don't know why they put that in there. Because I was gonna try to avoid this as best as I could until their book. Because maybe if I see like the slow build up to this, then I wouldn't be as bothered. No, I'm bothered. I'm bothered just a tad. And I'm bothered that the authors are like saying this to me like I'm stupid and then go ahead and gaslight me into thinking Daisy and Ryke are okay, like age-wise. Anyway, yeah, I just put the book down just out of irritation and just because I couldn't read it at work. But now I'm going to try to get through as much as I can tonight. Sorry, didn't mean to come on here ranting, but I feel like it's honestly not spoken enough within the fandom of this series how weird and weirdly normalized this ship is. Like, it's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna read. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, hopefully, if I remember. Okay, bye. Good night. Good morning, guys. I am now on part February, right here. Yeah. See all this writing? I'm having a lot of thoughts. I finished out the January chapter in just one read last night. I think I'm going to finish the rest of this book, the rest of it today. Where do I begin with my feelings? I really do love Ricochet. I do. I think it's honestly a whole lot better than Addicted to You in terms of actually exploring each character and why they are the way that they are. Like, and when I'm talking about the characters, I'm not just talking about the core 6. I'm talking about even like the side characters, like their parents and just how they were raised and the generational trauma that has reflected onto the Calloway Sisters series and even the guys, Connor, Ryke, Lo. Like, they all have so much trauma. Like, I don't really know. This is reminding me, do you guys know that one edit of Jamie Lee Curtis where she just constantly, I think it was during like the Halloween movie not PR run, like the promo run for Halloween, and she was like trauma, just so much trauma. That's how I feel reading this. January was a rough month for the Calloway Sisters. I just finished the part where all of them, Daisy, Lily, Rose, Poppy was gonna go, but then she left, as Poppy does, because she has a grown life that she does not involve with her parents, or even her sisters. I kind of always forget Poppy is around because she doesn't really like the family drama, and honestly, so real of her. But the three sisters end up going to their father's, like, I don't know, company event, and a lot of shit goes down in this chapter. I totally forgot that this was a thing. This chapter was the first time you see Rose's insecurities, where you see Lily actually kind of standing up for herself in front of, like, not just her sisters, but her mom and her father and Lo's father. You see Daisy and how her relationship with her mom has affected her, and the way that she looks at herself and the way that she eats because of her modeling job that her mom forces her into. You see kind of how Connor is the one who is able to calm Rose down in a way that no one else really understands. Because it's also, I love Connor and Rose so much because it is stated verbatim that they have broken up 5 times since, like, the previous book, and have gotten back together since then multiple times. It's like a cat and mouse thing between the two of them, which I think is so hilarious to me. But you see how it all just comes to head in this chapter, where Rose is so angry at their mom, rightfully so. Samantha Calloway, you are not seeing heaven. Their mom, the Calloway sisters' mother, Samantha, is a menace to society. Seriously hate that woman with all of my being. And you can see that it's Rose's biggest insecurity to be like her mom. And I think Daisy said that she reminded her of their mom, and it really set Rose off, especially because of the stuff that their mom does in this chapter. It's just like, she just can't take it anymore. She just wants to be heard by her mother. She wants to be seen by her mother. I think that they all do. I think that their mom really messed them up. And their dad, he seems like a nice guy and everything, but he's honestly no better. Like, he's kind of like, not an absent parent, but you can see that, like, he doesn't really know what's going on in the girls' lives. Like, he's just kind of there as, like, a placeholder for a parent. He doesn't really parent anyone. Like, he saw Rose screaming at the top of her lungs at her mom, and he's just like, oh, you know, they usually fight. There's no need to get in the middle of those two. Like, they're gonna calm it down and figure it out. Like, he's not really there either. So all they have is their mom, who's just like micromanaging and manipulative and gets involved in their lives in ways that they don't want, and doesn't listen to them at all, and still treats them like they're honestly kids. Daisy is a kid, but, like, as for Lily and Rose, their mom treats them terribly. She treats Daisy terribly too, but again, because Daisy's like 15, it's like different. Not saying that it like excuses any of the abuse that Samantha puts on to Daisy, but it is different in Rose and Lily's case, where they're just like, you can't keep on forcing us to be the way that you see us, because it is harming us. And I don't think Samantha understands that, or she just doesn't care. There was a part in here where Rose is literally screaming at the top of her lungs, like, every time I try to talk to you about something that you do that makes me feel uncomfortable, you always circle back to how you've done everything for us and how we need to give you something in return for that. But why does it have to be like our sanity? Like, why do we have to suffer just so you can see that we're grateful for what you've done for us all of our lives, basically? Like, their mom has a way to gaslight and manipulate them into these people that they are. Like, you can tell that, like, although Rose is seen as like the perfect sister, she has like the biggest insecurity of turning out like her mother, which I think reflects in her relationship with Connor, which is why she ends up breaking up with him all the time. She also officially stated in this book that she does not want kids, and you could say that that also reflects onto how she doesn't want to be like her mother. Like, that's her biggest fear. Lily is such an interesting person to see this whole thing play out from. Like, again, this book is still in Lily's perspective. We haven't had any other POVs other than Lily's. She is finally understanding her sisters a bit more, and every time she comments on like what her sisters desire, it's more so out of curiosity, more so than just like an assumption. Like, she sees that Daisy is on the edge of like losing her mind. She sees that Daisy is afraid to eat because it'll make her mom mad. She sees that Daisy just really wants free will. She sees that Daisy is too afraid of their mom to be open about what she wants, but is also the most daring person she's ever known. And she looks at it more as like, why is she like this? More so than it's just like, oh, well, she's obviously always been like this. It's not really like that, especially for Daisy and Lily, because it's interesting because ever since Lily went to college, she hasn't really had a relationship with Daisy. So anytime she kind of like analyzes her sister, it's always something that's nice to read. Whereas with Rose and Lily are the closest, and yet it still feels like she's trying to understand her sister in a way that I honestly feel like no one really understands Rose other than Connor. And I don't know what that says about Lily and Rose's relationship, or Connor and Rose's relationship, but Lily is just really trying to dissect how her sister is and the way that she feels. And I think that even she knows, because she's the one who ended up calling Connor, because again, they're broken up during this time, but she's just like, Connor, I need you to come down here because Rose is about to lose her mind. Like, I have never seen her in a state this bad, and I don't know what to do for her. I think you're the only person that can get through to her and calm her down before she loses it on our mother. And of course, he comes down with swiftness, tux, limousine, everything, ready to get Rose back on track. But this book is all about Lily learning her family and how fucked up they are. Like, I'm not kidding. January literally ends with Lily saying, we're so fucked up. That's all I can process. Yes, I spent the entire night not thinking about sex, but my family is a mess, basically. That's basically what she's saying. She's like, I've been so caught up in my own addictions that I have not seen how dysfunctional we are. Like, we all have our own problems going on, and I just want to be there for my sisters. And it's just, oh my God. Like, I don't even know. I don't know. And again, Jonathan Hale, Lauren's father, such an enigma of a person. I don't know how to feel about him. Again, I don't like any of the parents in this series. I think that they catastrophically mess their kids up in a way that none of them really want to come to terms with, at least not yet. Again, I'm only in the second book. Who knows? Maybe they'll take accountability. I can't remember from my first read if they did or did not. Jonathan Hale is one of those cases where he's honestly the stand-in for Lo while Lo's at rehab. I think that Jonathan and Lo are so alike to the point where I can't tell if that makes me like him or not like him. I was just talking to Morgan about this because, again, my friend Morgan is reading it. She has the same thoughts I do, where Lo and Jonathan, like father, like son, exactly alike, even in terms of their alcoholism. There was a moment in this chapter where Jonathan stood up and defended Lily, and it was I wouldn't say wholesome scene. It was more so just like, I don't know, mind-boggling. Because again, I'm not Jonathan's biggest fan, but the way that he did it, it was like he knows that Lily's going to be a part of his life no matter what. Like, he called her his future daughter-in-law. He said that if anyone messes with her again, that he will ruin their lives. Very reflective of Lo, despite the fact that Jonathan, honestly, I don't think he likes Lily. I can't tell. Whenever Lily walks into a room, he's always glaring at her, making snide remarks. But when it comes to this, like protecting her, he'll do it with ease like that. And I think if it weren't for the alcohol, they'd have a pretty decent relationship, just like with Lo and Lily. The difference being that Lo is ready to face his addiction and try to overcome it, whereas his father is still in denial about his. And it's really sad, honestly. Like, I don't think I was prepared to see Jonathan stand up for Lily and defend her against some incel that her mother forced her to go on a date with. Ew. Samantha Calloway, you will be dealt with. I like being able to look at these characters and just see how they start out as honestly a complete mess. There's not a single character in the story that has their life together. Maybe Poppy. But again, her mother messed with her relationship so much too, to the point where Poppy has honestly no want or need to be surrounded by her family. Like, she loves her sisters, but she honestly avoids a lot of family gatherings because of how much her mom messed with her husband and her future. So yeah, there's really not a single person in this book who has their life together, even though it looks like they do. Lily even said, like, what did she say? All I know is that my family is royally fucked up, and no amount of money or luxury can fix these problems. Maybe they even helped cause them. And I really do think that throughout this entire series, you see how being famous as they can get. They're not like Kardashian famous, but they might as well be. Like, they have a lot of money and a lot of status and can get into certain places because of their household name. So like, they have to deal with all of that while also having their own lives. And I don't think the money or the fame helps them in any way. It's obvious that it just has made it worse. It has deterred them in their progress as being like functional human beings. There's just a lot to unpack here with this book, and again, I haven't even gotten that far. I'm like right here. My goal is to finish this today. Hopefully I can. Yeah, I just feel like every time I give an update, I'm kind of talking in circles because there's just so much to unpack here. I don't know how I read all of this in a month. 2020, 2021 me, I was built different. I'm exhausted. Morgan's texting me and she's so concerned. She's like, why is this your comfort series? This is so sad. And I was like, I honestly don't know. I don't know why. This is a lot to read, and I think I'm gonna need a break soon. So yeah, after I finish this, I'll let you guys know my thoughts. I'll talk to you guys later. We have to talk about Ricochet. I finished this book this morning. Honestly, I'm surprised. This book took me a lot longer than I thought it would to get through, but I have to remember I have a life outside of reading, sadly. I wish I could just stay in bed all day and binge read this series like I did all those years ago, but I just can't. I did end up finishing this, and I have a lot of thoughts, okay? I remember at the time of me first reading this book, it was, I think, mentioned that, oh, you don't really need to read this one. Like, it's just a novella. You can skip over it. It doesn't really play that much into the overall series. And I can't stress enough how much I think that's a lie. Like, that's an injustice to the series if you skip Ricochet. In this book, we basically see the transition from Lily and Lo in the first book to the sequel, obviously, but I don't think it should be downplayed like that. Like, the amount of growth that takes place, specifically for Lily in this book, is just so admirable. Like, it makes me feel proud. It makes me feel so proud of her. I'm gonna get emotional. There were so many moments throughout this book where we saw the downfall of Lily. Like, when you think it couldn't get worse for her, it did, because her main support system, Lo, is not with her. She feels like she's all alone. She has to grasp with the fact of finding other support systems through her sisters, who she is still trying to form a real relationship with. She's trying to figure out how she feels about being a part of her family, this family that she doesn't really like. She feels like her family considers her an outsider because she also considers herself an outsider. She has to grasp onto how she feels about that. She has to actually start therapy in this book. She has to figure out what it means to be a sex addict and why she is the way that she is. Getting the question of why answered after all this time, because throughout the first book and this one, she's constantly asking herself, why am I like this? Why do I always go to sex as a way to deal with who I am when I don't even know who I am myself? Like, and I think this book, she doesn't get those questions answered in any type of like real self-reflecting way, but she does end up getting a better understanding of who she is and how much of that impacts her addiction. She finds out who she is through, again, her family, her upbringing, who she has surrounded herself with. And through those factors, she does end up understanding why she is the way she is throughout the rest of the series. So I feel like being able to say, oh yeah, you can definitely skip Ricochet. Don't listen to those people. Read this right now, okay? Because it's just, I love reading the series. I do, because no one in this series is perfect. Every single one of these characters is flawed. Obviously Lily and Lo are, but I'm talking about like just everyone. Every character that you meet in this book is very messed up. Okay, but the thing is, because of their privileged lifestyle of being rich and in the spotlight and conventionally attractive, no one would be able to see them as messed up as they are based off of how they look. But all of these characters are majorly flawed. Even the ones that you think aren't, because of how well they keep themselves together, they are not doing okay. And I think the one thing that Krista and Becca Ritchie really nailed making this book is being able to not unpack the why, but to unpack the when. Like, a lot of this book is just Lily trying to figure out the root of the issue, the root, where it started, when exactly it started. And a lot of the characters also do the same in the background, obviously, because again, this book is still in Lily's point of view, so we don't really get to see any other characters' points of views. But a lot of the characters' flaws are highlighted in this book, and it's just Lily trying to figure out, when did we get like this? When did me, my sisters, my family, my friends, when did we all become these versions of ourselves? Like, some might say the worst versions of ourselves. And I think that's just as important as figuring out why they are like this. And yeah, it was so good. The little moments that we did get of Lily and Lo in here, again, they're only like maybe 2 or 3, but we also get like flashbacks before the first book even takes place, like a little prequel of how their friendship started, how their fake dating started, how they've always been enabling each other, how they feel like they are the causes of each other's addictions from when they were kids. There's a lot in this short little novella, but I genuinely think that it is a must read if you're going to read this series. It helps you understand the characters in a way that the other books don't. Like, you get to see how Lily and Lo are separately, and how Lily understands, or not understands, how she grasps onto the fact that she can get better, and she needs to figure that out without Lo by her side. And I think this book does a good job of showing us that. And yeah, throughout the whole entire book, I wanted to give her a hug. Like, I've never been more stressed for a character, I think, in my life. Like, do you guys see this? Do you guys see this? This is all my writing right here. I like essays on essays. I didn't think I was gonna heavily annotate this book as much as the others. Oh, I was so wrong. Towards the end, I literally started tearing up. It was at the scene where Lily has to state her vows to get better, and Rose has it like at their housewarming party, because again, Lily and Rose now live together, which I think is perfect dynamic. And now that Lo was out of rehab, he's gonna also be living with Lily and Rose. Can't wait for that. But anyway, at their housewarming party, Rose makes Lily state her vows of recovery, and she does it with Rose, Ryke, and Connor. And it was just like such a heartfelt moment of them basically encouraging her and being proud of her and cheering her on, while she lists all of the ways that she's going to try to get better, as a way to make sure that not only she can hold herself accountable, but that the other people in this group that she considers closest to her are able to hold her accountable. And it almost had me tearing up. I'm not going to hold you. Absolutely adore this book. And yeah, what else is there really to say other than the fact that I can't wait to read the others? But me and Morgan both agreed that after this book, we will be taking a break. The emotional impact that this book series has on not just me, but also her. And again, this is her first time reading it. I don't think she was expecting such like heavy hitting, sad subject matter. Because I don't know, I guess I didn't explain this book in a way that had her very much like prepared. So she really was not expecting all of these topics. And so she's like, I need a little bit of a break before I get into the others. And obviously, since we're buddy reading, I'm also going to take a break. I'm going to finish Parable of the Sower, because I don't know if you guys remember, I was in the middle of reading that, and then I was like, no. But I think this is a good time to take a break. You know, pause one emotionally damaging book for another emotionally damaging book. Because let's just be clear, Parable of the Sower is not really like quick, easy read type of book. But I do want to finish that, and then me and Morgan are going to dive into Addicted for Now. And we're probably going to speed through that one because Morgan is very excited for Rose and Connor's book, which I knew that she would be. Kind of feel like I'm going to rate this one higher than Addicted to You. I think I put Addicted to You at 4 stars. This one might be close to 4.5, maybe 4.75. I don't know. It's not getting a 5 yet. But the books obviously get better as the series goes on, but I don't think I'm going to be able to give any of the books in this series anything below 3 stars. And even 3 stars is like a reach, but that's my update. I'll talk to you guys when I'm back into the series. Bye. Good morning, everyone. It is a brand new week. It's been like a full week since I talked to you. Hello. I have to get to work soon, so I don't have time to talk, but I am starting Addicted for Now. I also did my hair, or I got my hair done. I cut off a lot of it, so my hair is now short. That's what you missed on Glee. But I'm starting the third book now. I'm planning to start it while I'm not home, so I won't be bringing my camera. But let's talk about expectations going into it. I don't remember much of this book, to be honest, because the main thing that I remember is the cliffhanger of the book. I remember being gobsmacked by the ending of this book, but everything else I don't remember. And even if I'm being completely honest, I don't remember the cliffhanger all that much. I just remember needing to rush in to kiss the sky to see what happens next. I do see this kind of as like a filler book, as bad as that sounds. It's the book I need to get through to get to Rose and Connor's book, but I'm hoping I have a good time nonetheless. Lily and Lo have reunited in this one. Not gonna lie, I kind of want to exchange this copy for a new one, because do you see, like, there's like bends and creases in the spine, and I don't know why, because I haven't touched these books at all in months. This is like the first time I'm actually like holding them. I'm gonna bring my annotating equipment, aka a colorful pen that color codes with the book. Very, very exciting times. So I will see you guys probably after work if I have something to say about it, if I get far enough to have something to say. Hello guys. It is, not gonna lie, weeks later. It's now February. Let's talk about Addicted for now. I have not read this in about a week, maybe more. Towards the end of January, I got wrapped up in reading everything else. So I'm picking this back up today. I got 100 pages into it. I don't know if you guys can even see where I'm at, maybe a little bit, but I'm currently a little over 100 pages into it. I need to talk about this book because I totally forgot the premise of it. Other than the fact that like Lily and Lo get reunited after he gets out of rehab, I totally forgot that someone's blackmailing them in this book. Someone's like, you don't give me what I want, whatever that is, I will tell the world that you're an alcoholic and Lily's a sex addict, specifically Lily. I'm pretty sure people know that Lo is an alcoholic because a lot of people knew in the last book that he went to rehab. So I think he's just blackmailing Lily. And so everyone in the group is trying to figure out who did it. And I honestly don't remember who did. This is really fun for me because it would be less fun, I think, if I remembered who did it, but I'm just as clueless as everyone else in this book. I feel like in terms of characters and everything, we're getting a good mix of everyone in this book now. Like interactions with literally everyone from Lily and Lo's perspective, which is crazy to me because we're getting dual POV in this book, which is fun, but being able to like read Lauren's POV and the way that he thinks, and it just makes sense to me. Like, I think the Ritchie sisters are really good at writing in so many different voices. They don't mesh together. None of the characters feel like they're carbon copies of each other. So whenever it switches from Lily to Lo, I'm just like, wow, drastic difference. Lily is kind of like cinnamon roll adjacent, and Lo is very dark, gritty, kind of a savior complex when it comes to Lily. It's nice reading from his point of view, even though he does annoy me. He annoys me a lot in this book, but it's not his fault. I just think out of all of them, Lo has the most annoying personality, where he's so mean. Even while sober, he is a dick. For what? I don't know, because let's just be clear, him being mean hasn't gotten him that far, obviously. It's actually made someone so resentful towards him that he's willing, whoever they are willing to blackmail him about his girlfriend and her issues just to get back at him. Like, I don't know, I feel like him being mean is ridiculous and unserious, but that's just who he is as a person. Obviously he's more mean to other people outside of the group, but still, it's like, it's interesting to read about because even he's like, I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I did that. That was unnecessary, but also it's who I am. Okay, sure. The amount of interactions with him and Rose in this book, I like Rose and Lo's relationship just as much as I like Ryke and Lily's relationship, meaning the siblings of the love interest that don't like the love interest end up forming like this weird bond where they're willing to come together because they both care about their sibling. I like that dynamic because there's growth there. In the last book, it was more about Lily and Ryke's growth, which, by the way, I'm going to get on Lily in a second because she says something in the previous chapter that made me upset. But anyway, but this book, it's mostly about Lo and Rose. I feel like, which is fun. I love Rose. So the more Rose interactions that she gets with anyone, the better I'm doing as a person. Every time they interact, you can tell that they really don't like each other. But they come together for the benefit of Lily and wanting her to get better. And they slowly do, I feel like, end up seeing each other. Maybe not liking each other all that much, but they have a better understanding of each other through their connection to Lily, which is the same thing that Lily and Ryke have, but with Lo. So I like that. Connor has barely been in the book so far because I totally forgot. He's still at whatever university that Lily and Lo went to before Lily ended up transferring to go to Rose's college, which is in a completely different state, I think. So him and Rose are doing long distance. So Connor's not really in this book all that much, which is making me very, very sad. Haven't seen much Daisy lately. As for Ryke, seeing Ryke from Lo's perspective is so funny because he's just like, this stranger is now my brother and now I have to bond with him. Oh no. I got no family left because my father disowned me and now I'm broke. Which, by the way, seeing him having to like beg and plead for a job, the downfall of the rich. Eat the rich, am I right? Obviously, someone's blackmailing her, so everyone trying to get down to the bottom of who did it. All of them pointing fingers to Ryke for some reason. And I get it, like Ryke is the newest addition to their crew. I get that it makes sense that obviously this didn't happen until after Ryke came and joined. But my question is, because Lily was the main one pointing fingers at Ryke, what evidence do you have to go off of other than the fact that you're not his biggest fan? Like, Lily and Ryke, though they understand each other a lot better after the previous book, Lily still does not like him and Ryke just finds her annoying. So I understand her pointing fingers, but what do you get out of that? Like, what's the proof? I don't understand. I don't get it. And she was so adamant about it. She was like, it has to be you. If it's not you, then I don't know who else it is. And I was like, exactly. You don't know who it is. Ryke literally had to be like, I came in the group at the same time as Connor. But Rose stood 10 toes down for her man. She was like, Connor wouldn't do that because he knows if he does, he would lose me. And he's not willing to do that. Exactly. Because she's right. But yeah, I feel like everyone pointing fingers at Ryke immediately was so, like, what are we doing? Just unserious behavior. And Lily being the one to do it was crazy. Because again, you guys had so much growth from the last book in terms of like actually becoming friends. And then you took that all away when you immediately blamed Ryke. Like, I don't know. Just think. Anyway, yeah, I'm on page 100. Lo just walked out of a modeling gig that Rose got for him to go satiate Lily because Lily is very much losing her mind. I think she's Rose's assistant. So, like, Lily's here, Rose is here, and not Connor. Lo is here. Lily's only job is to basically be at the computer and assist. And she's like, I can't do that because I can't remember the last time I had sex and I'm going insane. And of course, Lo being there because he's modeling for Rose's clothing line, it's not helping her. So Lo is like, I'm quitting this job to go satiate my girlfriend. Good times. Happy February. Happy Black History Month. Damn near happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, we're on to a new book. Great times. Okay, I look a mess. I just woke up from a nap. 1. And 2, I'm about to go out. So, like, I'm about to do this little update in a rush, okay? But I'm on part 2 of the book. That's what this update is for, okay? I'm like, how many pages? 200? I seriously forgot how long this book was. And that's not to say, like, it's dragging or anything or I'm not enjoying it. I just forgot, like, genuinely. So, it's taking me a bit to get through it. It's only the next day, but I got through like a little over 100, maybe a little under 100 pages when I got home from work today. And now I have to go out again. But updates. Lauren having to go to Jonathan Hale, his father, to help him take down whoever is blackmailing them. That's good writing. That's good writing. Also, finally can say that it's nice to see Jonathan from Lo's perspective. The only time we ever saw Jonathan in Lo's perspective was the bonus content in the first book, at least for me. I didn't get to see that the first time I read the book. Forgot how much Lo has such like a complicated relationship with his father, and it's said time and time again, but I feel like whenever they react, like have a interaction with each other, it's shown more, especially with their dynamic because they're the same person in a different font. So to see them work together to take someone like this down, kind of iconic, not gonna lie. Not, mind you, I've said time and time again, I have very complicated feelings towards Jonathan. Terrible, evil down, but also he's an addict just like Lo. So I can see why Lo sympathizes a bit with him, besides him just being his father and that being why. It's obvious that he can see that his father has a problem, and that's like one of the main reasons why like they've had a disconnect over the years. Your dad has a problem and you got a problem. There's nothing to really help solve this or help the bond between you and your father. But what can bring us father and son together? Taking this guy down. Exactly. Or girl. I seriously can't remember who it is that's blackmailing them. I'm trying to figure out the mystery while I'm reading the book. Not going all that great. That's why I don't read mysteries, okay? But I'm having a good time. I was just like, wow, really forgot how long this book was. Just had a chapter with Connor. A Connor and Rose interaction. You guys know I'm always here for it. Lo went to Lily's therapist. Have like a session with the both of them. Love that chapter. Honestly, the Lo and Lily interactions in this book have made me realize why they are such a cute couple. Like I said, they're not really my favorite. It's not because I dislike them. I just totally forgot that they are so like mundane and domestic compared to like the others or compared to my favorite couple in the series. So yeah, there was this one scene where Lily was talking to Lo while washing her hair in the sink because they had to rush to go to Connor's place or whatever, and so she didn't have time to take a shower, and he had to help her because she was getting water all over the place. And of course, because like it's Lily and she's an addict, him being behind her triggered her urges. But like it was really funny because the whole entire time they're having like, a normal conversation, like a normal like bickering banter back and forth, and he's like making sure that she does not like open her legs or grind on him while casually continuing the conversation. It actually made me laugh. It made me laugh in like a really hee ha ha way, but also like aw. Them as a couple is very interesting, very different from what I usually read, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm on part 2. I like how each part starts off with like a superhero reference. Like I think part 1 was an X-Men reference. Yeah, it was people talk about you like you're Jesus, but you're not. You only pull out the miracles to save yourself, which kind of makes you the opposite of Jesus, doesn't it? And then part 2, quote Spider-Man, we all have secrets, the ones we keep and the ones that are kept from us. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can even see that because the lighting in here is shitty because it's nighttime. But with that being said, I am at least like, I don't know, a third into the book, maybe a fourth, a quarter, I don't know. Do I have anything else that I want to add? No, I'll talk to you guys later, probably tomorrow. Hello. It's the next day. I'm on chapter 29. I'm like this far into it. Can you even tell? Hold on, let me open the book. I'm like this far into it, almost half. It's only 4:30. I'm not going to finish reading. I just want to update something real quick because part 2, we're starting off with them in spring break. I completely forgot about this section of the book. Mess. They're in spring break for a week, all sharing one room with the sex addict who needs to have sex in order to function. Oh, mess. We got Rose, we got Connor, we got Lily, we got Lo, we got Ryke, we got his whoever girl he brought with him. Now we got Daisy. This is the kind of mess you wish you could see on your television. Granted, there have been many shows about rich people and rich people problems. I'm not saying we need another one. However, I would love to see this on my screen. Would it ever get picked up? Who knows? But with that being said, I'm on chapter 29 and it's been like a few days into the trip. I love seeing Lo's point of view. I can't stress this enough because as much as I love Lily, I like the way that Lo handles conflict when it comes to Ryke more than Lily. Obviously, because they're brothers, it's different. I get it. But because Daisy is here, you already know what I'm going to say. Ryke is being weird and I don't like it. Okay, so it's been like, I don't know how long. She's 16 now. I can't keep track of time. I'm pretty sure it's been like a year since the events of the first book, but again, I can't tell. I could have sworn she was 14 in the last book, maybe 15. I don't remember, but she is here. She's 16 and she's blonde and she's just trying to spend spring break with her sisters. And here comes Ryke. Now, I can't stress this enough. I'm sure Ryke is a great person. I see it. In the interactions that he has with Lo especially, I feel like he's a good brother. I know that what he's doing when he inserts himself in other people's problems, he's doing it because he cares. That's great. However, when it comes to Daisy, the 16-year-old that you barely know, it's weird as hell. Now, don't get me wrong. Daisy has her own problems that her mother puts on her. Blame Miss Calloway for all of these girls' problems. It's all on their mother. Daisy has her own set of problems with eating and how she looks because of her being a model, a job that was forced upon her by her mother. I get it. And no one ever wants to step on Daisy's toes when it comes to that stuff. For some reason, even Rose doesn't comment on the fact that her sister's not eating. I find that a little bit weird. I find it weird that the only one who is going to call her out for this is Ryke. Like, I'm sorry. What? Why does Ryke have to seduce her into eating a taco for y'all to be like, maybe we should say something? Or maybe, hey, we should call out Ryke for being a dick. I don't know. Because why is Lo the only one to do this? Why is Lo? Because I think, again, Daisy and Ryke's relationship, was progressing more in the last book, and Lo wasn't in the last book. He was in rehab. So for him to see this firsthand, he's like, sirens, wee woo. He has to tell his brother to stop. And you want to know what excuse Ryke uses as to why he treats Daisy the way that he does? Let me go back. In this chapter 28 is what I'm reading from. Daisy goes and does something dangerous, like talk to two strange men in Mexico, right? Ryke and Lo see this. They're just like, we're coming to save the day. And Daisy does something that ends up having Ryke almost touch her boobs. Basically, it's like she's haggling these men for like the necklaces that they're selling. I don't know why she's haggling when she's rich, but whatever. And she's just like, oh, I only have like this amount of coin. And Ryke and Lo are just like, please wrap this interaction up. This is weird. And she's like, does anyone else have any other like spare change? And Ryke is like, give me your change and I'll haggle, because Ryke knows Spanish, so he can talk to them. They're in Mexico, by the way, just in case I didn't mention that. They're in Mexico. He was like, give me the extra change that you have and I'll haggle them. And she's like, I don't have spare change. He's like, yes, you do. It's in your swim top area. And she's like, I'll only do it if you get it yourself. Basically, something like that. Obviously, goading him on because she's a 16-year-old girl. Ryke almost falls for this and grabs onto her boobs to get the money out. And of course, Lo, being the voice of reason, who would have thought, has to stand in between his brother to make sure that his brother does not grope this 16-year-old girl. Do you see the issue? And the way that Lo reacts to this is fair. He's like, what is your issue? Why are you talking to her like this? What? Because mind you, Daisy is like a little sister to Lo. He's known her whole life. So he's like, what exactly are you doing? Why are you doing this? You're letting a 16-year-old get to you. And he's just like, well, I just feel like this is the only way to handle the situation. You know me, I'm abrasive and I'm blunt and blah, blah. And he's like, you can't use that excuse for everything, especially when it comes to groping a 16-year-old girl. And you know what? This is the response that Ryke has. He's just like, I love women and care. Sorry. Ryke says this verbatim. I'm reading off the page. I love women and care about them more than you even fucking realize, Lo. But I saw my mother turn callous from that divorce. I say things that I shouldn't because I stopped giving a fuck what people thought of me. I stopped trying to play the doting son, the role that girl is going through right now. And it's fucking killing me to watch it happen. That sounds like projection and an excuse to be predatory. You see yourself in this young girl and that's why you want to be there for her. Okay, fine. Does that include flirting with her to get her to eat? Does that include going in her bikini top to get money out to evade a situation? I don't think so. I'm sorry, to use that excuse of, well, my mother was terrible and our father sucks, which is why I am the way I am and why you should excuse my behavior. What are you talking about? What? And even Lo is just like, I can't look at you right now. I can't deal with you. I'm tired. You have stressed me out. I'm going to walk Daisy back to the hotel. You're gonna go find the girl that you brought with us on this trip and go mess with her. Leave me and leave Daisy alone. He was like, literally, if you don't, we will scrap here on this beach right now. Don't test me. That's the kind of energy I wish Lily brought last book when Ryke and Daisy started this whole thing. Because obviously, I think I mentioned this when I read the last book, I hate the way that Lily goes about confrontation anyway, because she avoids it at all costs. She's not confrontational, which is fine. Some people aren't. However, in a situation where, like, how old is he? Ryke, 23, 24. When a 23, 24-year-old man flirts with your 16-year-old, I think that's an excuse to get confrontational. I think that's an excuse. Especially when the whole family is here. Like, do you have no shame, Ryke, to do this? when her sisters are around, when your brother is around, your brother who was like a brother to Daisy, openly flirting. Like, what? And of course, he's just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm very happy that Lo said something, because I was like, I can't go through this entire book without someone saying something. The fact that neither Connor or Rose has said something yet is crazy to me. Granted, I think that they're low-key in their own little world. They're trying to make sure that they're kind of the parents of the group, where they're trying to make sure everyone is safe, sound, collected, have everything that they need, because also their clothes got stolen. They've been through a lot since they landed in Mexico. So I understand if Connor and Rose are distracted. However, I'm gonna need someone to keep an eye on Ryke. I'm sorry. Like, I understand people love Ryke, and I'm sure that he's doing this out of the goodness of his heart, whatever. He's just really nice. He cares too much, and that's why he does what he does. His technique for doing what he does is questionable. Police, sirens. But yeah, I just needed to rant. That's all. I'm gonna keep reading. I don't know how far I could get into this book before the end of the night. I kind of want to test myself and see. But yeah, spring break. Yay. Just why? Well, whatever. Okay, bye. Hello, I'm officially back from work. You guys are not gonna get a different angle out of me, I fear, because I'm only ever reading this book either in my room or at my job, and you guys don't need to see where I work. So sorry for the continuous one-shot angle. You probably can't even tell it's a different day from my clothes, but we move. So let me talk to you. I'm officially, I feel like, halfway into the book. I'm like right here. I'm on page 290, almost 300 pages in. Let me tell you where I'm at. We're still on the spring break trip in Mexico. Lo is low-key, the realest one in this book for how he's treating Ryke. I know I keep getting on my soapbox about Ryke, but I just can't stress enough how much, like, he's irritating me. And it makes me upset, because I'm just like, no one's making you interact with Daisy like this. You're doing this on your own free will because you can't help it. It's who you are. So basically what just happened, they were out to eat at a Mexican restaurant, obviously because Mexico. But anyway, they were out to eat at a Mexican restaurant. All of them. I'm talking Rose, Connor, Lily, Lo, Ryke, his girl that he brought, and Daisy. They're all sitting at this table. You can already tell where it's going from here when they're all conversing like this. I don't know how it gets to this point, but Daisy ends up bringing up how Ryke gave her sex advice. If you remember in Ricochet, when Lo was still in rehab and Daisy was on her birthday trip in Acapulco with Ryke and Lily and some of her friends, Ryke had the nerve to give these 14, 15-year-olds at the time a sex talk or sex advice. Why? Because he just felt the need to be honest and give his opinion where it wasn't needed. Like, seriously, that's how it happened verbatim. And of course, Lo was looking around and like, you did what? And that's when Rose and Connor turned their heads like, what? Because Rose and Connor weren't at the Acapulco trip, so they have no idea. And Ryke is like, oh shit. Like, yeah, you messed up. Why would you do that? The thing is, when Lo confronts him about it, he's just like, well, I'm not going to apologize for it. I don't have any regrets about what I said or did, because obviously the advice worked. I know that Ryke's whole thing was like, he feels no shame. He never feels embarrassment. I understand that's his thing. It's part of his personality. It's time we bring back shame. It's time we bring back shame for men. For Ryke, because this is ridiculous, right? Because I'm reading this at work trying to keep my composure, but I'm honestly livid. I'm so upset. This is making me like even less excited to get to Ryke and Daisy's book, because the way it's being set up, I don't remember him being this annoying. I'm honestly, like, truly, I don't remember him being this annoying when it comes to how he tries to defend his interactions with Daisy. Because let's just be clear, Daisy, again, is 16 in this book. She's a little bit older, but she's still a minor. That's not going to change. That's not going to change until Hot House Flower, and even then in Hot House Flower, barely legal. The way you are talking to this girl, giving her sex advice when she is 16, wanting to know her opinions on kissing, while at the dinner table at a Mexican restaurant, trying to convince Lo that, oh, you were just giving her advice because Lily couldn't give advice because Lily's a sex addict and she can't talk about sex. And so I was just trying to like ease the tension. You shouldn't have even been involved in the conversation, sir. Like, you shouldn't even have been there. This is what he says. I'm gonna read it word for word. I just want you guys to hear how crazy this man sounds. He's like, it was Daisy's sweet 16 and we were on the boat. Her friends were discussing sex and I was not a part of that conversation. Believe me, they roped Lily into it and she looked ready to fling herself off the yacht. I mean, she's a fucking walking oxymoron, a sex addict who's uncomfortable talking about sex. She ran away from the girls, and when Daisy confronted her to talk about sex, she was flustered again. I was just trying to show her that it's okay, that people can be comfortable about it. I knew I was going to cross the line, but I thought it was going to be fucking worth it for Lily. And a little bit for Daisy. I can't take it back, and I honestly wouldn't. This is my problem, right? This is like the second time that Lo has confronted him about his inappropriate interactions with Daisy, because he feels no shame and no regret for anything that he does. He doesn't see how he's in the wrong at all. Now, in any other case scenario, he's willing to openly apologize if he's messed up with something. He's done it multiple times with Lo, Lily, even Rose. Like, he's apologized. So I know that he's capable of apologizing. However, when it comes to this one thing, his interactions with Daisy, he refuses to apologize for them and how he talks to her about things that he has no business talking to a 16-year-old girl about. Like, it's weird to me. This is the hill that you're going to die on. You just needed to talk to this 16-year-old girl about sex. You needed to. And you have no regrets, apparently. You're sick. You're sick. And I'm happy that Lo is the one to be like, yeah, you stress me out. I can't be around you. You were going to drive me to drink. I need you, like, away from me. Every time he talks about Daisy with Ryke, he gets stressed the fuck out. And I think it's hilarious because same, Lo, same. I'm surprised that Rose and Connor didn't say anything. They looked upset, apparently. Rose was flabbergasted, but she didn't go off on Ryke, which is interesting to me. I'm gonna let that sit. I'm gonna let that marinate. But yeah, Lo was the only one standing on business. Ridiculous. But yeah, I'm now at the part where I don't know how much left of the spring break trip I have left. I'm pretty sure the second part of the book is shorter than the first part, so the second part just might be the spring break trip, which I'm fine with. I'm having a fantastic time. Whenever everyone in the book is together, that's when I am at my peak happiness, because it's very found family. The interactions on the spring break trip have been giving me so much life. The banter, the back and forth, specifically with Rose, Connor, and Lily. Okay, so Lily, I haven't talked about this, but Lily is getting tutored by Rose's best friend, who's a menace to society, by the way. Doesn't actually tutor Lily. He just gives her previous exams from the class to help her cheat with. And she does that because Connor's not available to tutor her because they're at completely different schools. I don't know if I explained this, but just in case I didn't, that's a catch up of what's going on. So Connor asks her, like right after they leave the restaurant in the cab when tensions are still high, Lily, how are your grades going? Like, did you ace your exam? How did the exam go? She's like, well, I'm doing great. She doesn't tell him that she's cheating because Sebastian, I don't know. Sebastian has this weird thing with Connor that I've never understood. Even like when I first read the book, I was like, what is your issue with this man? Because honestly, Connor minds his business unless he's provoked. Something that a lot of characters in this book need to learn how to do. But anyway, she doesn't tell Connor that she's cheating because she doesn't want him to be disappointed, him or Rose. So she's like, I'm doing well. And Connor's like, what's well? Like, is it a C, a 75%? Like, what is it? And she's like, oh, well, I got an A on my previous exam. And he's like, oh, that doesn't sound right. He's basically calling her an idiot in like 10 different ways during this cab ride. And Rose is like telling him to shut up. Rose is like, maybe you weren't as good of a tutor as you thought. Like, you thought Sebastian was going to be bad and he has Lily peaking with A's. Like, and Connor's like, no, I know Lily. She's an idiot. She would not pass this unless she was either on Adderall or cheating. And he literally says that, and I can't help but to laugh. He's like, without the help of me, she's not passing those tests. So I don't believe her. And I think that's hilarious. The interactions with all of them have been peak, minus the ones with Ryke and Daisy. I'm thriving. And I honestly don't want the spring break trip to end because there's also like forced proximity here because they're all forced to share one room. And so like all of their interactions are so like every interaction that other characters have, Lily and Lo can see the interaction. So they're not just like side interactions. They're kind of like in the conversation. Ugh, my family for real. Okay, I'm going to read, and I'll try to update you guys later if I do end up reading more before the end of the night, but we'll see. Good morning, guys. It's the next day. I've been reading since I woke up this morning. It's not late in the day. It's 9:30 a.m. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Anyway, I'm gagged. I totally forgot that Lily's like secret gets revealed like in the middle of this book. I'm like right here. I don't know if you guys can see that bookmark. I'm like over halfway to being done. I thought it was more towards the end when her secrets get revealed, because now I'm at the part where like it's on the news, her family's calling her up when they're on the plane back from Mexico. I remember this scene so vividly. Changed the way I saw drama. Changed the way I saw cinema, entertainment in book form. Yeah, I remember this whole entire plane scene. I remember it like it was yesterday when I first read this, but I didn't think it was this early in the book. I thought it was happening later. I'm still in part 2. We haven't even touched to part 3 yet. Crazy work. Yeah, that's the only update I have for you. I'm at the part where shit hits the fan, and I'm so happy to be here. Very sad, not gonna lie. Lily's having a full-on crash out on this plane, rightfully so. All of her ex-partners, not like romantic partners obviously, but sexual partners, are on the news spilling her business. Her parents are calling her up. Their therapists are calling her up. Daisy is finding out her secret while on this plane, watching it on the news, not knowing what to do. Ryke's girlfriend, partner person is still on the plane, flabbergasted, because she's just an outsider here. She doesn't even know what's going on for real. You have Connor, his investigator, his PI, who was on the case, calling him up, being like, bro, what's going on? Oh, mess. I love mess. But yeah, my goal is to finish this book by today because I've already gotten this far. I feel like this last part is gonna fly by because of how much stuff is happening. I'm just truly wow. And also the fact that Ryke is the one to comfort Lily in this scene, I kind of love that. Like the person that she has like the least connection with and is constantly on the outs with is the one playing fucking goldfish with her on this airplane floor, trying to get her to calm down, while Lo is having his therapy session in the plane bathroom. You couldn't write this kind of gold if you tried. Like, wow, to have her secret outed like this on the plane ride back after she spent a week without sex. Like, this is a big accomplishment for her. Lo and Lily both spent a week without caving into their vices. And what do they get when they come home? Mess. Ugh, it's so sad, but I am having a really good time. And I don't want this to be ruined by their parents, because I'm sure once they touch down back home, their parents are going to be right in that airport waiting for them. Their parents can all go to hell. Like Ryke put it best at the end of this chapter. I'm on chapter 38 now, but at the end of chapter 37, he was just like, you owe your parents nothing. The fact that they weren't concerned with you before when you were showing clear signs of not being okay just shows that they really don't care. And the fact that they want to act like they care now by probably berating you and sending you to rehab or across the country away from people that do care about you just shows that they don't know you enough to show criticism. They don't care about you enough to actually like do something helpful. They just want their image covered. And he ate with that, as he tends to do. I know I've been hating on Ryke for a good portion of this video, but I do think he cares too much about people. And because of that, he has these one-liners every so often that really eat. Like, he's very self-assured in the fact that, like, some of these people can go fuck themselves, respectfully. You don't owe anyone anything. And I have to agree with him on that. On chapter 38, I just got done reading like 3 chapters back to back in Lily's point of view. I'm kind of exhausted. So now I'm on Lo's chapter. I don't know if you can even see that. And I'm sure he's crashing out in this bathroom during his therapy session as well. Yeah, I probably won't update you guys again until I'm finished with this book, because I really do just want to get through it. No breaks, no interruptions. Though I will say, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I haven't mentioned it, so I highly doubt it, but I have barely been updating this book. Like, not updating, annotating this book. I started in like the first quarter of the book, not even, maybe the first 100 pages, and I haven't updated since. I think it's because this is a book that I really just want to get through, because this is when like everything starts happening, and because I'm like so hooked onto like the plot and everything, I haven't taken the time to like write my thoughts. And also, I feel like talking to you guys while I'm reading the series, I'm already getting all of my thoughts out. So putting them on the page and repeating myself, it doesn't seem all that helpful. I feel like I will get back into annotating once I do read Kiss the Sky, Hot House Flower, the rest of the books. But for this one, I kind of just really want to get through this, like right now. No breaks. That's where I will leave you. I will update you when I am done reading. Hi. I totally forgot, I think, to make an outro for this video and like a final review of Addicted for Now. I realized this while editing the video. I honestly think I did make an outro and that I accidentally deleted it. So that's my bad. But anyway, hi, this is the outro for this video. So my overall review of Addicted for Now. It's been like weeks since I finished it, so I don't remember my initial reaction other than being gagged. I really liked it. I think I liked the second half of the book more than the first half. I remember saying that. I remember feeling like kind of, I don't know, like this was a good chapter for Lily and Lo. Like it's a good place to end or take a break from the series before going to the Calloway sister books, because the way that the book ends is that like they are forced to get engaged by their parents to like cover up the scandal of Lily being like a sex addict or whatever. And it also starts with Lo having to make a business and like telling his dad that like he'll start becoming an adult and making adult decisions, and what he wanted to do was make like a comic book business or whatever. It's like a really good, fulfilling, somewhat conclusion to Lily and Lo's story. Like honestly, though like a lot of mess happened in like the second half of the book, I feel like the way that this book ended, you don't need to read the other books in the Addicted series because it kind of ends somewhat happily. Like yeah, they're going through it because now their family knows their secret, but I was overall just like really happy with that ending. I don't know. What else? Oh yeah, I felt like in part 3, because I didn't really make a review for part 3. I think I stopped talking to you guys about this book when I like finished part 2. So like there was a lot that happened when it comes to like the family dynamics in part 3, but I don't remember because it's been a while since I read it. I think what I really liked most about like the ending of this book is like the realistic view of adulthood, or like early adulthood, especially from like Lo's perspective. This guy who grew up in a very privileged household with all the money that he wants, with everything that he wants, with no clear like trajectory of what he wants to do. And like honestly, Lo had no hope for what he wanted to do for most of his life, because he honestly didn't think that he'd live this long to like see a future where he got to be what he wanted to be. And so like the fact that his dad was like, whatever you put your idea into, I will invest in it, like that's it, because I don't have anything else to say about it. I just need you to grow up and make big boy decisions. And like he was like, okay, the first thing I'll do is make a comic book company. And then it's also kind of Lily's company, because like I think it's like Superheroes and Scones is like the cafe inside of the company. It's like a really cute idea. I totally forgot. I remember that they made like comic book characters later down the line, but I totally forgot that like it started with him like making his own company. It was just, it's cute. It's a cute ending for them. Also like the whole engagement thing, it was cute because it was like Lo proposing the way that he wanted to propose and not in the way that like Lily's family or his dad wanted him to propose in. Overall, just great fun ending. I had a good time with this book. But yeah, this is where this video ends because it is now like 2 hours long. I wanted to see if I could split the series in half and read 5 books this video and 5 books in the next, but because that's kind of ridiculous, and because I am a yapper to my core, I can't do that. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, thank you so much. I have not started the Calloway Sisters books yet. It's like the end of February and I have yet to start those yet. I don't know when I will start them. I don't really have this planned, but expect the next part like as soon as I can put it up, as soon as I start the books, as soon as I read them, expect the next part. And yeah, if you read this series, let me know your thoughts on it, your thoughts on my thoughts, because I had a lot to say, and I've been having really a lot of fun reading these books again. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone.